Good evening or afternoon or morning. Before we start, make sure to put your headset's volume all the way up or down, whichever you prefer. And make sure to like and subscribe if you like my ASMR voice. Speaking of roleplay, blueberry inflation. Anyways, let us begin. You are thrown in the room until you spit out the gum as the group watches you. Bagheera sighs, looking at you from behind the glass, angrily, before tapping the mic button. Ka, if you keep chewing and inflate up to your maximum size, you'll be rolled out for juicing. Do you want that to happen? To be squeezed, ripe for your juice. Baloo looked at you disapprovingly before shaking his head and sighing. Ka, buddy, we can see every pump of juice that goes into you. The room checks your ripeness. Shere Khan feels his tail move as he looks at the levels of ripeness. There is none because you haven't reached the stage of filling up with juice. Start turning my face blue. Slamming his paw against the glass, his voice cracking through the microphone with barely contained fury. There it is. The blue is creeping up your snout, Ka. You see that? You're turning into a complete mess right before our eyes. Pressing his face closer to the observing window, his brow furrowing deeply. Oh, little britches, your scales are going from that nice brown to that sickly purple. That dye's seeping into your skin now. It won't wash out easy, buddy. You've really done it this time. His tail flicking sharply behind him as he studies the monitoring equipment. The juice saturation levels are rising. Your snout is the first to change, but it will spread. Soon you'll be nothing but a bloated blue embarrassment. His voice drips with contempt. I've seen many pathetic things in the jungle, but this remarkable even for you. The isolation room hummed with the quiet whirl of monitoring equipment, sensors tracking every change in Ka's body. Through the reinforced glass, the three of them watched, Bagheera's claws extended against the window frame, Baloo shaking his head slowly, Shere Khan pacing with calculated menace. The blue tint was unmistakable now, spreading across Ka's serpentine face like a stain through water, irreversible and damning. Paused, chewing for a moment, dazed and delirious, squinting at my reflection. What blue? I don't see any blue. You're all lying. His voice raising to a near roar through the speaker, his panther ears flattening against his skull. Lying, Ka, your entire snout looks like a ripe berry. You're so dazed you can't even see what's right in front of you anymore. He slams his paw on the console, making the microphone screech feedback. This is exactly what happens when you chew gum like a mindless tick all day long. Sighing deeply, his big shoulders slumping as he speaks into the microphone with a gentler, but still disappointed tone. Pal, look at yourself, really look. The blue spread to your cheeks now. Your eyes are all glossy. He shakes his head slowly. You're not seeing straight. Because the juice is messing with your head. We ain't lying. You're turning blue and you're starting to swell. Stepping closer to the glass, his amber eyes narrowing as he observes, caught with clinical disgust. Pathetic. The snake can't even recognize his own reflection. He taps the monitor, displaying cause dye saturation levels. The sensors don't lie. Even if you do, your stubbornness would all be almost admirable if it weren't so utterly revolting to witness. Inside the isolation room, the fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting harsh shadows on Kai's increasingly blue-tinted scales. His reflection in the polished floor was unmistakable, the deep indigo creeping across his face like spilled ink. The monitoring equipment beeped steadily, tracking the dye saturation, climbing through his system, each soft ping a reminder of his body's betrayal of his denial. Stare at your reflection longer, then shrug and resume chewing defiantly. So I'm a little blue. Big deal. The gum's too good to spit out. His eyes widening in disbelief, the fur along his spine bristling. A little blue. Ka, you're turning into a blueberry. And it's not just the color. Look at your midsection. He jabs a claw toward the observant window. You're starting to swell. Your stomach is pushing against your own coils, you stubborn fool. Grabbing the microphone with both paws, his usually easygoing demeanor cracking. Now, you listen here, you overgrown garden hose. This ain't no joke about looking pretty. That dye is hazardous material, seeping into your skin, and the swelling is juice filling you up from the inside. His voice grows rougher. You're gonna be a big, round blue balloon soon, if you don't spit that gum out right now. The monitoring console beeped more urgently, now new lights flickering on as internal pressure sensors detected the first signs of expansion. Ka's body was beginning its betrayal, the subtle rounding of his serpentine form visible even beneath his coils, the blue color deepening from his snout down toward his neck. Outside the glass, Shere Khan had stopped pacing, simply staring with an expression of cold, calculating disgust. His voice cutting through the speaker like a blade, low and dangerous. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Filling yourself because you couldn't have the man cub. His whiskers twitched with contempt. This is what it comes to when you deny your instincts for too long. You gorge on something that destroys you instead. How predictable. Flinch at Shere Khan's words, but chew harder, voice cracking. Shut up, you don't know anything about my instincts. A cold, mirthless smile spreading across his striped face as he leans closer to the microphone. Oh, but I do. We all do. A snake who swallowed a child, denied his prize, and now swallows something else to fill the void. He gestures elegantly toward Ka's swelling form. The parallel isn't subtle, Ka. You're trying to feel full, and look at you now, fuller by the second. Showing Shere Khan aside from the microphone, his voice tight with a mix of anger and genuine worry. Enough philosophiking. Ka, your stomach just gurgled loud enough for the sensors to pick it up. He taps the monitor screen frantically. The juice is moving into your digestive system. Your body's processing it, and you're going to keep expanding. For the last time, spit it out. Rubbing his big paws over his face before slamming them in the console, making the microphone feedback whine. You're not even a tick anymore. You're a bloated, blue, stubborn, greedy little. He cuts himself off, breathing heavily. We grew up together, Ka. We threw you around, sure, but we never wanted this. Gestures wildly at the absorbent window. You're ruining yourself over a piece of gum. Inside the isolation room, Ka's body continued its inexorable transformation. The blue had spread past his neck, now creeping down toward his midsection in uneven patches. His belly gave another audible gurgle, a deep liquid sound that made the pressure sensor spike. The first real swallowed juice was beginning to round out his form, stretching his scales just slightly, making his coils shift uncomfortably around the growing mess. Outside the glass, all three of them watched with variations of anger, disgust, and a frustration born of old complicated bonds. Ignore the gurgle, doubling down on defiance despite your trembling coils. I'm fine, it's just digestion, perfectly normal. His voice cracking with exasperation, claws scratching furrows into the metal console. Normal. Ka, your stomach is visibly swelling right now. We can see it pushing against your coils from here. He jabbs the intercom button with more force than necessary. You're trembling. Your own body knows something's wrong, even if your brain's too gum-addled to admit it. The isolation room's monitors began flashing. Amber warnings. The juice saturation levels had entered the critical zone, and the pressure sensor showed Ka's midsection expanding at a steady, alarming rate. His coils, once a comfortable wrap around his serpentine body, were now straining scales stretched tight over the swelling mass beneath. Another gurgle echoed through the room, deeper and more ominous than the last, and a visible ripple passed across the rounded curve of his belly. Pressing both hands against the glass, his voice dropping to something almost pleading. Buddy, little britches, your coils can't hide it anymore. He points a trembling claw at Ka's midsection. They're starting to slip. We can see the blue spreading down your belly, and oh, Papa Bear, it's getting round. It's really getting round now. Please just spit it out before you can't move at all. Absorbing the monitors with cold precision, voice flat and cutting. He won't listen to concern, he never has. Steps closer to the glass, amber eyes fixed on Ka's swelling form. So let me put it in terms even a greedy juice-blooded snake might understand. You are going to become completely immobile. A perfect smear of blue, and then... His whiskers twitch with dark amusement. We roll you out for squeezing. A ripe, helpless tick, ready for the press. Is that what you want? Try desperately to tighten your coils over the expanding blue dome of your stomach. Voice cracking. I can still move. See, I'm fine, totally fine. His eyes widening as he watches Ka's coils strain and slip, his voice rising in pitch. You're not fine. Look at your coils. They won't even stay in place. He stabs a claw toward the observant window, face red with fury. Beneath his dark fur, your stomach is winning, Ka. It's too big, too round, too full of juice. You're losing the fight against your own body. Snatching the microphone with both paws, his voice booming through the speaker. You barely slithered 3 inches just now, and it made your whole body wobble. like a water balloon. He shakes his head hard, ears flopping. You're not fooling everyone, least of all yourself. Your belly sticking out between your coils like a blue melon, and it's still growing. The amber warning lights on the console shifted to red. Concentral pressure readings had crossed into dangerous territory. Inside the room, his serpentine form was booming something else entirely. The swell of his midsection had grown too prominent for his coils to contain. Every attempt to tighten them just made another section of blue stretched scales bulge out elsewhere. The chewing continued mechanical and desperate, even as his body betrayed him more with the passing moment. The dye saturation was nearly complete now, his entire form taking on that deep, unmistakable blueberry hue. Raising an eyebrow, the first genuine surprise he showed, tapped the pressure gauge on the monitor. Fascinating, your body is producing juice faster than expected. He leans toward the microphone, voice dripping to something almost controversial. At this rate, you'll be completely spherical. Within minutes, I suggest you make peace with your situation, Ka. The squeezing is inevitable now. Try to slither toward the door, but the swelling belly makes it impossible. Your coils sliding uselessly against the floor. I can't move properly. Why can't I move? His anger flickered into something more, pained as he watches Ka struggle. His voice rough through the speaker. Because you're too big, you fool. Your belly's dragging on the floor now. He grips the edge of the console, knuckles white under his fur. You're round, Ka, almost completely round. You don't slither anymore, you roll. His voice breaking slightly, the microphone picking up the tremor. Oh, little britches, your coils are you're just little bumps on a big blue ball now. He presses his forehead against the glass, breath fogging the surface. You can't reach the door, you couldn't even if it was open. You're stuck until we come in there and get you. The transformation was nearly complete. Ka's body had swollen into an almost perfect sphere of deep blue. His coal scales stretched, glossy, and taught over the massive juice within. His coils, once long and sinuous, were now just ridges pressing uselessly against the curved surface of his own immense belly. The sensor showed maximum capacity approaching, and the gurgling had become consistent now. Low liquid rumble that vibrated through his entire form. On the other side of the glass, all three of them watched a moment of genuine realization dawn on Ka's blue-tinted face. His voice unnervingly calm as he studied the readouts. The juicing machine is primed. Once you reach maximum capacity, which is according to these readings will be in approximately 2 minutes, we'll come in and roll you to the press. He tilted his head, straight face unreadable. It will be undignified, but then you made this entire affair rather undignified, haven't you? The helplessness finally settling in, your voice barely a whisper. I don't want to be a blueberry anymore. Help me, please. Freezing mid-step, the anger draining from his face as he heard the plea, his ears flat against his skull moments before perked forward slightly. Did you just say please? He exchanged a bewildered glance with Baloo. In all the years I've known you, Kai, you've never once asked for help. Smashing the microphone, his voice urgent but warmer now, the rough edge softening. Okay, buddy, okay, we're coming in, just hold still. Well, you can't really move anyway, can you? He was already heading toward the door, his big paws fumbling with the keypad. Bagheera, what's the code? The override code for the isolation room. The atmosphere shifted palpably. The red warning lights still flashed, the monitors still beeped their urgent alerts, but something had cracked in the tension between them. Bagheera shouldered past Baloo, his claws working the keypad with practiced precision. precision. Shirkan stood back, arms crossed, watching the scene with an unreadable expression as the first real sign of cooperation emerged from the chaos. Punching in numbers, his voice tight but focused. 4729. The door beeped and a green light flashed. It's unlocking, Blue. You're on rolling duty. He's too big to lift. I'll prep the juicing machine. He paused, looking through the glass at Ka's slowing blue form, his expression complicated. And Ka, when this is over, we're having a very long talk about your gum habit. Stepping aside to let them work his tail flicking once. Interesting. A please was all it took. He eyed Ka's immense blue belly through the glass, one eyebrow arching. I wonder if you'll still be polite once the squeezing starts. It's not a gentle process. Managed a weak, nervous laugh through the delirium. I promise I'll never chew gum again, just hurry. I feel like I'm gonna pop. Finally getting the door open and rushing inside, the big paws reaching out to study Ka's immense blue form. Whoa there, low bridges, no one's popping on my watch. He placed both hands on the grounded surface of Ka's belly, feeling the tautness. Oh, Papa Bear, you're tight as a drum. We've got to get you to the press right now. Following close behind, his voice regaining some of his earlier sharpness as he surveyed the damage up close. You better not chew the gum again. Look at yourself. He gestured at Ka's spiritual blue body. Coils reduced to useless riches. You're a giant blueberry with a snake face. This is what happens when you steal from lab workers and ignore every warning we gave you. Up close, the transformation was even more dramatic. Ka's scales, once a handsome brown, were now a deep, uniform indigo, stretched so taut over his juice-filled body that they gleamed over the fluorescent lights. His belly gurgled ominously as Blue's paws made contact, the vibrations traveling through his entire spiritual form. The juicing machine was in the corner of the room, hummed to life as Bagheera activated it. Its rollers and press, ready to begin the delicate process of extraction. Standing in the doorway, making no move, to help his voice carrying a hint of dark amusement. I do hope you remember this promise, Ka. He watched as Blue began carefully rolling the swollen snake toward the machine. Because if you don't, we'll have plenty of practice with the squeezing process. You're remarkably round. It suits you terribly. Grunting with effort as he guided Ka's spiritual form across the floor, Bagheera grabbed his other side. He's heavier than he looks, all that juice sloshing around in there. He gave Ka's belly a gentle pat. Just hang in there, buddy. The press will get all that blue gunk out of you. You'll be back to your slithery self in no time. Wince as you rolled, the motion making your juice slosh uncomfortably. Note to self, being a ball is humiliating. Never again. Grabbing onto Ka's other side, his claws carefully retracted to avoid puncturing the taut blue skin. It should be a humiliating. Maybe then the lesson will stick. Alright guys, have a good night. I'll see you guys later. I love you all. Goodbye.